step onto the concrete concourse, my boots clicking softly. A low hum of anticipation immediately fills the air, echoing from unseen speakers above me. My hand reaches out, finding the cool, smooth metal of a railing that borders the path. I trace the railing's worn surface with my fingertips as I move slowly past concession stands with closed gates. The sound grows louder now, an indistinguishable murmur of thousands, a rising tide of human voices. It sounds like a bustling crowd, excited and ready for something grand to begin. But when I step further and look up, the vast stadium bowl stretches out before me, completely empty. Rows of faded plastic seats ascend steeply into the dim light, pristine and untouched by any recent presence. No fans stand or sit anywhere. The entire arena is a hollow shell. The vast expanse of the green field below is quiet, the grass perfectly manicured and waiting. Yet a sudden, collective roar of a cheer abruptly erupts around me, as if on cue. It sounds incredibly real, bouncing off the high, curved ceilings, immersing me completely. I walk slowly along the deserted upper deck, the phantom energy of the crowd pressing in close. My fingers slide along the cool metal railing, following its continuous curve into the distance. The intense cheering fades into a steady, chattering buzz, like a game is just about to commence. Or perhaps already in full swing. I stand alone, feeling the profound absence against the overwhelming sonic presence. I can almost feel the collective breath of the unseen multitude, but there is only me, listening to a ghost. The air itself feels charged with a silent expectation. I lift my hand, running my fingers over the cool, smooth plastic of a stadium seat. The empty rows stretch out, vast and silent, despite the distant crowd noise playing over the speakers. That disembodied sound swells and fades, a wave of phantom excitement for a game unseen. Suddenly, Alex stands a few rows ahead, staring intently at a specific spot in the stands. He turns his head slowly, his eyes unfocused, as if focused on something beyond my view. His lips move. Then he speaks in a low, gravelly whisper. "They wait for the true signal, you know," he says, his gaze fixed past me, not on me. "The real game has not yet begun for them." He glances back at the empty section, a faint smile touching his lips, then blinks. When his eyes open again, the space where he stood is completely bare. I step forward, my boots quiet on the dusty concrete, feeling the abrupt void where he was. The silence from his absence presses down, heavier than the artificial cheers. I reach out, my hand passing through the cool, empty air he occupied just moments before. I walk slowly across the concrete, my footsteps barely audible beneath the distant roar of an unseen crowd. A strange shift occurs in the sound. It seems to intensify, as if a section of the stadium has suddenly filled. My fingers trace the smooth, cool surface of the small stone I carry, turning it over and over. Ahead, near a concession stand shuttered closed, a figure steps into view. It is Alex, one of the others from the team, though I haven't seen them for a while. Alex looks directly at an empty section of seats, a faint smile on their face, then turns to me. Their eyes are wide, unblinking, and their voice is a low whisper. They are listening, you know, to everything. Before I can respond or even ask a question, Alex simply fades, not walking away, but dissolving like mist, leaving only the persistent, echoing cheers. My hand clenches around the anchor stone, its solid presence a small comfort against the sudden void where Alex stood. The crowd noise feels closer now, almost as if it pulses with a life of its own from those silent rows. I move slowly down the aisle, my hand sliding along the cool metal handrail. The stadium lights above seem to flicker almost imperceptibly, casting longer shadows across the empty rows of seats. The illusion of a roaring crowd continues to fill the vast space, an invisible wave of sound without a source. I glance up towards the higher tiers, where the shadows pool the thickest. A figure stands there, partly obscured, facing away from the field. It looks like Mark, though he often wears a hat, and this person does not. He turns his head slightly, and I see just the edge of his profile. He is staring intently at nothing specific in the empty rows. This is unusual for Mark. He usually faces the field. I take a step closer, my footsteps echoing faintly, almost swallowed by the recorded cheer. "Mark?" I ask, my voice barely a whisper in the cavernous space. He does not turn his body, only shifts his head further, revealing more of his face. His eyes seem unfocused, looking through me, not at me. He speaks, his voice flat and distant. "They only hear what they want to hear, you know?" He pauses, then adds, "The game never truly ends." A strange, almost imperceptible shimmer passes over him. One moment, he is there, a solid shape in the dimming light, and the next, he is gone. The space where he stood is now just empty seats and deep shadow. The stadium's light source subtly shifts, deepening the blues and purples in the upper deck, making the green field below appear even more vibrant by contrast. The artificial roar of the crowd seems to swell slightly, then recede, a deliberate ebb and flow. I feel the cold metal of the handrail beneath my palm, gripping it tighter, my knuckles whitening slightly. I move across the stadium concourse, my steps slow and deliberate on the grimy concrete. The recorded crowd noise swells around me, a ghostly wave of excitement that feels deeply out of place. Ahead, a line of old green turnstiles stands silent and unused, a barrier to nowhere. I reach out and place my hand on the cold, pitted metal of the first turnstile. Its surface is rough, a testament to countless hands that once passed through. As my fingers wrap around the horizontal bar, a peculiar change happens in the ambient sound. The general roar does not stop, but a singular, sharp sound emerges from it, like a bell cutting through static. It is a child's excited laugh, clear and bright, seemingly originating from the very top row of the upper deck, section 405. I scan the distant, empty stands, seeing only faded plastic seats bathed in the dim, artificial light. The laugh replays, a quick, joyful burst, then immediately fades back into the undifferentiated din of the phantom crowd. The sound's sudden clarity, its specific origin in an empty space, feels like a new, unsettling anomaly. I tighten my grip on the unmoving turnstile, the cold metal a small, solid comfort against the impossible sound. The laugh is gone, but the impression of it lingers in the vast, silent arena. I step onto the track surrounding the field, my shoes making a soft, scuffing sound on the synthetic surface. The overwhelming murmur of a phantom crowd plays from speakers hidden somewhere above, an unsettling sound in this cavernous, empty arena. I move closer to the field itself, the green expanse stretching out under the constant, bright lights. My gaze falls upon a loose chunk of the artificial turf, torn away near the goalpost. It sits there, an incongruous block of green against the black track. I lean down, my fingers reaching for it, feeling its plastic blades and the embedded rubber pellets. It feels strangely cold, even in this artificially lit environment. As I run my thumb across its rough surface, the crowd noise seems to shift, becoming oddly specific. What was a general roar now contains distinct, almost individual whispers and shouts. I hear a faint, sharp gasp, then a quick, excited murmur, almost as if someone is reacting to a specific play. This new clarity in the sound is unsettling. It makes the empty stands feel even more intensely vacant. I hold the turf patch firmly in my palm, the small piece of manufactured ground feeling solid. My attention divides between the object in my hand and the increasingly unsettling sounds that fill this vast space. The phantom crowd feels like it is trying to find its voice, creating an odd sense of anticipation. The sheer scale of the stadium seems to amplify the unsettling presence of these non-existent spectators, making the quiet more profound. I step out onto the artificial turf, the vast empty stadium stretching before me. My foot makes a soft, squishy sound, out of place in this grand silence. A constant roar of crowd noise washes over me, loud and filling the air. It is a mix of cheering and chanting, even though no one is here to make it. The stadium lights glow with an unnatural brightness, casting long, sharp shadows across the tiered seating. I walk towards the closest row of seats, reaching out my hand. My fingers trace the cool, hard plastic of a deep red chair. It feels smooth, yet also strangely worn, as if many people sat here before. I press my palm flat against the back of the seat. I feel a faint vibration, not from the sounds around me, but from something deeper within the structure itself. A thin layer of fine dust comes off on my fingers as I pull my hand back. As my hand rests on the seat, a subtle change happens in the phantom cheers. I hear distinct whispers now, not just a general roar. A child's clear laugh emerges briefly, then fades back into the larger noise. It is like a ripple in a vast, unseen ocean, growing closer. The distant shouts grow a little louder, almost urging me forward. I feel an odd pressure, like the empty space itself is watching me closely. My breath stays slow and even. This stadium truly holds echoes that are far more than just sound. I feel a strange vibration in my hand, causing me to tighten my grip on the handheld radio. The familiar roar of the crowd, usually a steady wave of sound from the overhead speakers, begins to waver noticeably. It distorts, stretching and thinning like fabric pulled too taut, losing its vibrant texture and full presence. I press the radio against my ear, rotating the small tuning dial almost instinctively, trying to clarify the strange shift in audio. The sound continues to recede, becoming distant and muted, losing its original energy. The cheering turns hollow, echoing in the vast empty bowl of the stadium, now sounding more like a ghost of a memory rather than a current event. Suddenly, the overhead stadium lights flicker, a brief stutter in their steady yellow glow. The illumination dims noticeably after this brief interruption, casting longer, softer shadows across the bare plastic seats below. I look up, observing the remaining light fixtures, which now appear weaker, as if losing their original power source. A distinct, deep, cold chill sweeps through the cavernous space, raising goosebumps on my arms. It prickles my skin, causing me to shiver slightly. I pull my worn jacket tighter around my shoulders, a small protective movement in this immense stillness. The crowd noise, now a mere whisper on the wind, seems to disappear entirely into the growing cold. The atmosphere feels much heavier, dense with an unfamiliar quiet. I feel the change acutely, the air now biting and still. I step out onto the concrete concourse, the stadium stretching out before me. A new detail catches my ear. The roaring crowd sound, usually a steady loop, now seems to shift slightly as I move. I walk slowly towards the lower seating bowl, testing this strange phenomenon. When I pause, The cheers soften, a murmuring anticipation filling the air, like a paused broadcast. Taking another slow step, a sudden swell of applause rises and then quickly falls again. It feels as if the unseen multitude is reacting to my solitary presence. The vast, empty stands absorb the phantom sound, making it feel even more real and immersive. Each row of seats is pristine, folded up, and waiting for a game that never comes. I reach a green plastic seat and run my hand along its cool, smooth surface. As my fingers brush the seat, a distinct, isolated cheer erupts right nearby. The sound is unnervingly personal, meant just for me, a direct response. The stadium is not merely playing a recording, it is actively listening. I stand still, letting the echoes of my own small actions ripple through the colossal space. The air hums with a silent energy, the weight of a million imaginary eyes on me. I can almost feel the phantom breath of the crowd on my skin. It is a constant, shifting presence now. The sound is my own shadow, always there, echoing my every subtle shift. I step deeper into the empty grandstands, my footsteps absorbed by the vast space. My gaze sweeps across countless rows of bare plastic seats, stretching upwards into the dimness. Bright stadium lights cast long, silent shadows, but a distant roar fills the air. It is the unmistakable sound of thousands cheering, a powerful wave of human excitement over a vacant space. No one is here, no movement, yet loudspeakers pump out a full, vibrant crowd noise, unwavering. The phantom applause swells dramatically, then gently recedes, mimicking a live event. I move slowly along a lower row, my hand extended. My fingers brush against the cool, hard plastic of a stadium seat, firmly bolted. It feels solid, worn smooth by unseen moments, a tangible ghost of past spectators. As I run my hand along its dusty surface, an odd sensation prickles my skin. The simulated crowd noise perceptibly intensifies around me, focusing its sonic energy. The distant cheer grows noticeably louder, more distinct, as if it responds directly to my touch. I pause, feeling the subtle, low vibration of the unseen sound resonating faintly through the empty structure. A profound sense of anticipation hangs heavy, though the reason for this waiting remains unclear. It feels like a performance playing eternally without a living audience, a stark echo of forgotten glory.